that peace is too much to ask for? Well, I just think it's a piece of a piece and we should have more. Don't really need a leader, just establish some norms. What's acceptable and unacceptable for yours. There's nothing wrong with rules of conduct to govern our own. Or would you rather the GOP come govern your homes? There's something wrong if you feel like it's right to be malicious. Or the fact that you're robbing your own neighbors of their riches. It's dumb and sickening that our youth has adopted the savage. It's reality, so it's non-existence or non-balance. We need clarity cause we see violence as a good habit. But it's damaging cause it's us killing us and it's madness. That's inadequate, so we came up with the solution to handling it. A global initiative that will sought to improve our statuses. Social economics and education make this a better nation. Say this pledge and I pray that you'll never break it. Raise your right hand as we say this. To love and respect myself and my fellow man. To protect our women, children, and the elderly. Not to commit any acts of violence on myself or others. To help improve my community with righteous endeavors. I'm present for peace. I'm present for peace. I'm present for peace. I'm present for peace. There's a reason why we're living like some beasts, but it's our obligation to make sure our people live in peace. If I could evolve the minds of the world, I would tell them peace is what you need. No need to hold on to the lies and the suffering. It only holds you from being free. But if you look inside yourself, it unfolds so naturally. The beauty inside your soul is key. And I hope to see you there on the other side of love. And we can dance and dance and love and harmony. That's why I'm present for peace, I'm present for love, I'm present for hope, and all the above, and I can't get enough. And I can't get enough. To love and respect myself and my fellow man. To protect our women, children, and the elderly. Not to commit any acts of violence on myself or others. To help improve my community with righteous endeavors. I'm present for peace. I'm present for peace. I'm present for peace. I'm present for peace. There's a reason why we're living like some beasts, but it's our obligation to make sure our people live in peace.
What you and I have to let the man know is we are decent people. We are loving people. We love everybody who loves us. We are dying spiritually and psychologically in disproportionate numbers at home in the ghettos. And I think the war itself accounts for our constant spiritual and psychological death here at home.
I'm present for peace.
My mother, my father, did not suffer and die to give me an education to fight for and encourage my people. Because whatsoever that it is that I acquired after their sacrifice of over 300 years, I shall use for the salvation of the 400 million black people of the world. And the day I forsake my people, may God Almighty say there shall be no one like me. You learn just to love God and to love yourself and to love your neighbor. You would challenge the forces that would destroy what you love.
Welcome to Making a Difference in the Lives of Others. We got one more little thing we're going to play here while Keedron gets logged in, and then we'll get down to it. I hope everyone's having a good Sunday night.
The president of NARAP said, look, you be there and you participate and let people know about the national organization. The road stay broken. Thank you, Ms. Howard, for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you, Oliver. Keedron Frank.
How y'all doing? I appreciate it. There's a lot that I thought about. I wanted to touch on back there, dealing with education and traumatic experience that I also help deal with youth. But just sitting in this caucus, one thing I do want to, I think goes on the priority list. Just sitting in this caucus, I was a police officer tried to intimidate me back there, and so with the height of being surveilled illegally by police, being in a state-sanctioned police violence state, We sit in a black caucus. You have people that so-called black men try to intimidate me in the back. So how systemic it is, and I like to hear all the fancy talk and things could be it.
Right.
But if we can't
Where
keep
you
us
at,
safe,
bro?
if we can't keep
We'll finish
police
this
from
little
trying
bit
to
up right
intimidate
here,
us or suppress us,
letting
or
everybody
oppress
get to
us,
know you a
or
little
even
bit.
want to gather in a situation like this to even want to
Okay.
hear legislators, it is an issue. And the fact that a lot of y'all sit on that panel, my Facebook friends, I've been to your mama houses.
Remember
I've
that
ate dinner
time
with
when you went
and
off
helped
at the
breakfast with
Democratic
you,
caucus?
and none of you, besides Jerry Holloway and
Yeah.
Father Cooper, says anything on behalf of
Yeah.
organizers, activists, regular citizens about this illegal surveillance. No one. So I'm pissed. I'm angry, and I want to express that. No one. So for y'all to sit up on this table and not talk about the most pertinent situation, which could be the reason some of y'all are probably in those documents too, over 100,000 documents, and you're hiding. Don't hide. If I mess with you, I'm gonna stand up and take whatever I need to take behind you and in front of you. And the fact that a lot of y'all sit up on this panel and say nothing, it's pretty. Don't think we don't have an army of organizers. They can get everybody out of those seats. I don't care because you look like me.
You have to know, folks,
I want you
who
to
he's
work.
talking to are all of the Democratic
celebrityism. I want you to
House
work.
of Representatives from Shelby County. He's not talking to just
You think
some
this violence
boards.
due to me? I gotta fight police.
Yeah, he's talking to the
me?
suits.
I have a child that will have this state-sanctioned violence in their blood. Because this shit done to me. It's traumatic. And I have to relive it every day. I have
That's what's up, Ray.
to help me walk through it and talk me through it. So that I don't snap and y'all see me finna hurt 100.
So y'all get an idea.
There's 1,000 of them trying to kill me.
And he's only getting started. He's only getting started. Welcome to Making a Difference in the Lives of the Others with my special guest, Keedron Franklin. How are you, sir?
I'm well, Ray. How you, bro?
I'm doing well, man. We had a great day yesterday. I actually still know Itchy Knee Son, and really enjoyed that, and so did John. And that was a really good group you've got going there. It was totally different than what I expected. You had said come with an open mind, and definitely. And so I recommend to anybody the Books and Breakfast program that the C3 Collaborative is putting on together. So, Keedron, what I did before you got in is, of course, I kicked President for Peace. You know, I start my day with that song. You know,
Shout out to Juju Bushman too.
Yeah, man, and you know, my mom, she's like, boy, he could sing. I said, yeah, he can sing. You know what I mean? But I showed that to her this morning. And then we were into the town hall speech and kind of wanted to give people a little bit of your background. So Keedron Franklin is a community organizer, or some people like to call it an activist. I remember meeting Keedron Franklin about 3 years ago, and I came from New Orleans and Houston, Texas, and I'm like, I know Quanta X, and, you know, I mean, I know what I'm doing. He let me know real quick, this is Memphis, Tennessee, Cap. We don't know you, and until we get to know you, it's going to be just like that. I have never sent a group message since, because that's the devil's message. And,
group messages.
You know, I mean, I was straight putting check because I was demanding answers. I was like, "Hey, you don't know me," and my man was like, "Hey, Cap, maybe you got a good heart or something, man. But why don't you show up and be vocal and visible and valuable, and then we'll talk about it. I don't care where you come from."
Damn,
and then
I forgot about
I understand
that, right?
now. Yeah, I remember that. That's the first interaction we had. And then I got you to come to Carl Dean's thing at the University of Memphis. I just hit you up, said, what you doing? He said, I'm riding out. I said, we want to ride by and see if everything's legit here. They're not messing with voters and that kind of thing. And you meet me, and I got a damn yard sign on me. I'm walking around the university wearing the dude's yard sign. And he said, from this moment on, man, you're crazy, Ray. All right? So that's kind of a history between me and Keedron. I follow along with him. He's like Flash Gordon. He's involved in a little bit of everything. So Keedron, as we talked about, I've got a few standardized questions I'm going to go lead you into, and then I'm gonna let you
Okay.
talk to the fans here. You got quite a few of them, and give them a little bit about who Kedron Franklin is. So that is the first question. Who is Kedron Franklin?
Keegan Franklin is a nobody that's looking to help somebody. That's it, Ray. That's it.
Can you explain how you have achieved the?
Born and
Go ahead.
raised here in the city. Yeah, like I said,
All right.
how I achieved what, Ray? Born and raised here in the city, a resident of Memphis, South Memphis, to Westwood. So from the south to the southwest side of town, is kind of
Right.
my playground outside of just the
Yeah.
rest of the city. But,
Right. Right.
yeah.
You definitely make your way around the city. But what I was asking was, can you explain how you have achieved the respect of the community to the listeners that are listening now? How did you earn the respect? Because there is no doubt that when people hear your name, it's immediately associated with real and respect.
Okay. I don't know. I guess just if you're talking about in the realm of social justice and organizations, then I judge that comes from just doing the hard work, actually being on the ground and doing the meticulous work that it takes to organize around issues. It's bigger than just putting a flyer together, saying we're gonna protest. There's a lot of intricate things that goes into it. If you talk
Right.
about where I get it from, my street life, then it's just about being who I am, a stand-up guy, and so it just depends on who you ask. You make or what part of the city I'm at. You may could just ask, or
Right.
what demographic of people I'm
Right.
dealing with, or you're asking. So
Right.
just
Exactly.
being my
No, that's for sure.
unapologetic self, actually.
Yeah, I don't hear you make apologies. I hear you sometimes give them something that may be close to an apology, but that's all you're going to get, Cap. So you better take that.
Yeah,
Describe your
most definitely.
Edrin. Tell us about your upbringing and how you came about turning your life over to serve causes for people like myself and people of the community and others relentlessly. I mean, 24/7, relentlessly. You do that. How did that happen?
I really don't know, Ray. I still try to sit down now, like, how the hell did I get myself into this? Um, but what I can say is, I think part of it that led me to the gateway of, being constantly on the ground is, first of all, being part of the struggle, coming from, poor community.
Yes, sir.
At one point in time, single parent household till my mom was married in 99. I mean, well, prior a few years before then, but so I understand. I've seen both sides of what it looks like for people to not have, and what it looks like for people to kind of have a bit. And part of this struggle comes, with lessons learned, going through the judicial, the criminal system, and on to even being able to help people and intervene in young minds even before they even reach the penal facility or juvenile facility or the
Right.
judicial system. So
Sure.
uh, a lot of that just
Trying
saying
to.
a lot of things that I have done personally, things that I've caused harm to, just figuring out how do I organize it and repurpose what my life is. And some of the first work I gotten into was like peace rallies and this
Right.
whole saving our babies and so that kind of led me to doing some organizing. Later on with Memphis Gun Down Initiative, which was a pact that was put together by AC Warden to help kind of deter gun crime and violence and different type of criminal activities. One of them being like gang and gun intervention and interrupter. So being able to get to a place where something has happened, some type of gang violence or gun violence. Take that back, gun violence.
Right.
Um, and being able to just kind of disseminate whatever resources we may have, or dealing with children, a caseload of children that has gone through their juvenile facility or system,
Right.
in the judicial system, and just trying to figure out resources to kind of help them from straying back towards that.
Sure.
And then with that, which is 901 Block Squad, I started realizing and figured out that the same system registrar that we was using to actually upload our case casework and track our youth that we was dealing with. The police officers, sheriffs, MPD, they was also able to actually tap into this same system and kind of can watch, the transactions. They can kind of watch the steps of the children. So that kind of turned me into a different beast of how, how I
Right.
was possibly being and aiding and abetting and perpetuating,
Sure.
locking young black males and women of color up. And
Yeah, I
so,
don't think
yeah,
that
that kind
set
of
well with you.
hell nah. No, 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 no. Nah, not at all, man. Which turned me into a different type of beast of okay, now I want to expose everything that they're doing uh to oppress and suppress us, and so that
Sure.
in turn, turned me into what a lot of people see as this old machine of just organizing. There's a lot come
Sure.
along with that.
Oh, yeah, like you said, most of the time, people like myself, we just show up for the protest or whatever. We don't see all the work that went into organizing
Right.
that event, whatever it
Mhm.
may be. Not just a protest, just a block rally, any of that stuff. It takes a whole lot of work, um,
Most definitely.
and and so yeah, we definitely respect that. I'm getting to your baby now. I know you're going to be happy to talk about this one. Tell us a little bit about C3, which is the Coalition of Concerned Citizens and the work they do in the community. They are they are involved in many community projects. Some that come to mind are what we talked about at the beginning, books and breakfast. And then
Mhm.
there's the C3 Land Cooperative. There's the
Mhm.
Memphis Community Bail Fund, and those are a few that
Well,
just come right
most
off
definitely.
off the top. What
Most
does
definitely.
giving back to you, to the community, mean? With how proud? I mean, I knew as soon as look at my grin. I knew as soon
Yeah.
as I got to the
Yeah.
C3 part, you were going to be open and ready. Tell us about it.
Shit, that could take us so many places. Just a quick correction before we delve into it. So the bail fund is actually Black Lives Matters and also
Okay.
the official Black Lives Matter project and initiative. And Black Lives Matter is also a part of the coalition. So it's still in proximity, but that's more of BLM running that initiative, which is a dope initiative to help bond out people of color. And so they've been doing
Correct.
great work for the last few years on that. So I
Amazing
most
work,
definitely want to shout out Shahida Jones and Erica Perry for leading
for
their
sure.
work over there, Breonna Perry. But C3, Coalition of Concerned Citizens, it's an organization of organizations, which is why BLM is they're an intersectional partner of ours. When we first comprised, it was probably about 20, 30 organizations, and it kind of grew up to about 50 organizations, and just all on the premise of being able to organize and support each other where we meet, and not being obligated to actually show up and do something, and not feeling scolded if that doesn't meet your intersection. And
Right.
so that's kind of so there's a lot of different organizations that span across that spectrum of coalition of concerned citizens, from Memphis Voices for Palestine, to Memphis Feminist Collective. Like there's a spectrum of people that keep us accountable and just looking out for the most impacted people in our city.
Correct.
So yeah, out of Coalition of Concerned Citizens, C3, three of us had went and created a nonprofit by the name of C3 Land Cooperative, which was pretty much for us to try to start thinking about different ways that we could financially support and self-sustain our own communities, poor people of color, and poor people across the spectrum. And
Sure.
so with that, a few processes. One was doing urban gardening.